The phone vibrates once. Then again. She doesn't scream when the bone shifts. She already used her voice earlier. There's no sound left to give. Her left arm hangs wrong now. Too loose at the shoulder, too still at the elbow. Pain comes in waves, sharp and blinding, then dull enough to breathe through. She presses her back against the bathroom door and slides down until cold tile catches her weight. Blood sits on the sink. Not much. Just enough to notice. She types with one hand. "Mom, please don't panic, he broke my arm, I'm scared, I don't know what to do." She hits send. If you're hearing this right now, don't blink. Like this video. Subscribe. And before the story pulls you under, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Because this message wasn't meant for the man who's about to read it, and what he does next changes everything. Her stomach drops. She sees the name at the top of the screen and knows immediately it isn't Mom. It's a number she doesn't recognize. Her breathing catches. She tries to unsend. Too late. The bathroom door rattles once. "Who are you texting?" the man outside asks calmly. She doesn't answer. Her phone vibrates. Unknown number. Who is he? Her pulse slams. Another vibration follows. "Where are you right now?" She stares at the screen, heart pounding loud enough she's sure he can hear it through the door. She doesn't reply. A third message arrives. "If he broke your arm, he's already dead. You just don't know it yet." She swallows. The door handle turns. Somewhere else, far from that bathroom, far from that apartment, a man stands on a balcony overlooking the Han River. Night traffic crawls below like a vein of white light through the city. He hasn't slept. The phone in his hand isn't supposed to matter. He almost ignores it. Wrong numbers happen every day. But something about the words freezes him in place. "He broke my arm. I'm scared." No emojis. No exaggeration. No performance. Just fear. His name is Kong Jun-suk. Most people in Seoul know it. They just don't say it out loud. He types carefully. "Tell me your name." 3 dots appear. Disappear. And Arielle Moore. He repeats it once under his breath. "Find her," he says without turning around. Behind him, a man already has a laptop open. Back in the bathroom, Arielle presses her forehead to her knees. Pain crawls up her neck. Her vision swims. The door doesn't open again. Instead, her husband's voice softens. "Baby, come out. Let me help you." She almost laughs. Her phone vibrates. "How old are you? Is he your husband?" She types. "Yes. Please don't call police. It will make it worse." The reply comes instantly. "I didn't ask about the police." Another pause. "Does he know your family?" Her chest tightens. "No. We moved here last year. I don't know anyone." The silence after that stretches too long. The door creaks open an inch. She flinches. Then her phone lights up again. "Listen carefully. Arielle. Do exactly what I say." Her breath shakes. "If this has you hooked already, stay with me. Like the video. Subscribe." This isn't just a story about a wrong text. It's about what happens when the wrong man reads it. Jun-suk watches security footage load. A cramped apartment. Poor lighting. A man pacing outside a bathroom door. He zooms in. The man's face is red. Not from anger, but fear. The kind that comes after losing control. Jun-suk's jaw tightens. "Run his name," he says. "They're married," his aide replies. 6 months. Jun-suk exhales slowly. That explains the silence. The isolation. The delay before asking for help. He types again. "Can you move?" Her reply comes slower this time. "I don't think so. My arm hurts too much." He closes his eyes once. "Open the window in the bathroom." She hesitates. Now. Glass slides. Cold air rushes in. Somewhere below, a car door opens. Her husband knocks once. "Baby, we need to talk." Her phone vibrates. "Don't open that door. If he comes in, scream." She almost tells him screaming didn't work last time. Instead, she texts, "Why are you helping me?" The reply takes longer than before. Because once, someone sent a message meant for someone else. And no one answered. Her throat tightens. She hears footsteps in the hallway outside the apartment. Not her husband's. He hears them too. "What the hell?" he mutters. The doorbell rings. Once. Twice. Her phone vibrates. That's for him. Not you. Her husband opens the door. She hears voices. Calm. Polite. Then the sound of something heavy hitting the floor. Silence. Her phone lights up one last time. "You're safe for now." She closes her eyes and finally lets herself cry. Before we go any further, pause for 1 second. Like this video and subscribe. Because from this moment on, the danger doesn't come from the man who hurt her. It comes from the man who saved her. The apartment smells like metal and cheap cologne. Arielle notices it only when the bathroom door finally opens and no one is standing there. Her husband's shoes are gone. The hallway light is off. Silence presses in, heavy and unnatural. She stays on the floor for a long moment, afraid that moving will wake something worse. When she finally shifts, pain shoots up her arm and steals the air from her lungs. She bites down on her lip until she tastes blood. Her phone vibrates. "Don't come out yet. Count to 60. She counts. Slowly. When she reaches 60, another message appears. "You can leave the bathroom now." She opens the door. The apartment looks untouched, which somehow makes it worse. No overturned furniture. No broken glass. Just the quiet absence of a man who was there minutes ago. Her phone buzzes again. "Grab your keys. Don't pack. Don't call anyone. Walk out calmly." Her legs tremble as she does exactly that. Outside, the night air is cold enough to sting. A black car idles at the curb. The back door opens before she reaches it. A man in a dark coat steps out, not touching her, not rushing her, just positioning himself slightly between her and the building. "Arielle Moore?" he asks softly. She nods. "This way." Inside the car, everything is leather and low light. It smells clean. Safe. Her body doesn't believe it. She curls inward, cradling her arm, heart racing. Her phone vibrates once more. "I'm going to ask you questions. Answer only what you're comfortable with. You're not in trouble. You're not owned. You're not alone." Her throat tightens at the last line. She types back slowly. "Who are you?" There is a pause longer than before. Someone who hates men who hurt women. And someone who doesn't like unanswered messages. She leans her head back against the seat and closes her eyes. Across the city, Kang Joon-suk watches her location move steadily through traffic. He hasn't sat down since the first message. His jacket is still on. His phone never leaves his hand. On the screen beside him, footage replays on mute, the husband opening the door, the polite knock, the sudden shift when he realizes who he's dealing with. Joon-suk turns away before the end. He doesn't need to watch pain twice. "Status," he says. "Contained," his aide replies. "Alive. For now." Joon-suk nods once. "Medical. On standby." And her arm. Broken. Clean fracture. Joon-suk's jaw tightens. Good. That means it heals. The car stops at a private clinic tucked behind a row of closed offices. No sign. No noise. Inside, nurses move quickly, efficiently, without asking unnecessary questions. Arielle is guided onto a bed. Her sleeve is cut away. The doctor explains what he's doing, voice calm, professional. She focuses on breathing until the world blurs. When she wakes, her arm is in a cast. The pain is quieter now, dulled to a deep ache. Her phone rests beside her pillow. A new message waits. "You did well." She stares at it longer than necessary before typing. "You knew where I was. You sent people. You hurt him." The reply comes almost instantly. "I stopped him. What happens to him next depends on you." Her stomach drops. "I don't want him dead. I just want him away from me." Minutes pass. Too many. She imagines the worst. Then the phone vibrates again. Then he'll disappear from your life. That is a promise. She exhales shakily. Why do you keep answering me? This time, the typing dots appear, vanish, appear again. Because you trusted a stranger with the truth. And because I don't believe in coincidences. She turns her head, staring at the blank wall. My mom thinks I'm fine. She thinks I'm sleeping. You can tell her when you're ready. No one will rush you. Something in her chest cracks open at that. Later, when she's moved into a quiet room with a window overlooking the city, exhaustion finally catches her. She drifts in and out of sleep, waking only when her phone vibrates. Are you in pain? She types back. Yes. But it's better. Good. Sleep. She does. When morning comes, the city looks different. Softer. Less threatening. She sits up slowly, careful with her arm. Her phone lights up again. We need to talk about what happens next. She swallows. Am I in danger? The answer takes longer than any before. Yes. But not from me. Her pulse quickens. Then from who? From the life you're trying to leave. And from the people who think you belong to it. She rubs her palm against the cast, grounding herself. You said I'm not owned. I meant it. But freedom attracts attention. There's a knock at the door. A nurse enters, smiling gently, checking her vitals. When she leaves, Arielle types again. What do you want from me? On a balcony miles away, Jun-suk finally sits down. He looks tired now, the edge of control thinning just enough to reveal the man underneath. He types carefully. Nothing you don't choose to give. Right now, I want you safe. After that, we'll see. She reads the message twice. You never told me your name. He exhales through his nose. Names complicate things. But you can call me Jay. She almost smiles. Hours later, after paperwork she barely understands and reassurances that feel almost real, she's escorted out through a private exit. Another car waits. Different driver. Same calm energy. Her phone vibrates as she settles in. I'm relocating you temporarily. New place. New number. It's optional. She stares out the window as the city passes by. And if I say no, then I'll still protect you. Just from farther away. The honesty in that makes her chest ache. Okay. The car turns onto a quieter street lined with trees. A modern building rises ahead, discreet, guarded without being obvious. Inside, the apartment is warm, clean, empty. Sunlight spills across the floor. It feels nothing like a cage. Her phone vibrates one last time for the day. Rest. We'll talk tonight. She sets the phone down and lets herself breathe. Far away, Jun-suk stands as his aide approaches. She's settled, the man says. Jun-suk nods. And the husband? Off the grid. Jun-suk looks out over the city again, expression unreadable. Good, he says quietly. Make sure he stays there. He turns back to his phone, stares at her name on the screen, and for the first time since the message arrived, allows himself a dangerous thought. This was never just a wrong number. Night settles like a held breath. Arielle wakes to the sound of a key turning, sits up hard, then freezes when the lock doesn't complete. The deadbolt is still set from inside. Whoever is out there only tested it. Her phone lights up a second later. Don't panic. Building security rotated. They're mine. She exhales, hand pressed to the cast until the trembling eases. The new apartment is quiet in a way that feels intentional. Thick rugs, soft lamps, a hum like distant air. She stands, checks the peephole, sees only an empty hallway and a vase of white flowers by the opposite door. A departure gift from someone she never met. She steps back. The phone vibrates. You didn't sleep long. She types with her good hand. Bad dream. About him. About doors. Open one at a time. The reply reads. Starting now. I have answers. She sits at the table, places the phone flat like a small animal she's coaxing closer. What is your real name? Dots appear. Vanish. J is safer. For who? For both of us. What do you do, Jay? What are you, exactly? The pause is longer than before. She can almost hear traffic in the silence between them. I solve problems people don't want traced back to them. Her jaw tightens. That's not an answer. No. It's a boundary. My husband. She stops herself. The word feels like glass in her mouth. Caleb. Who is he to you? Nobody, Jay replies. A man whose hands broke what didn't belong to him. That's all I need to know. The door across the hall opens. Soft footsteps fade. Arielle breathes the apartment's gentle air and tries to picture a future that is not a defense. You said the danger isn't you. Then who? When the answer comes, she feels the floor tilt. Caleb owes people. Not money. Favors. He offered you as proof he could keep things under control. The room blurs at the edges. Offered me. He bragged about you. Loyal. Quiet. Alone. That combination attracts attention in my world. She stares at the thread in the rug until it doubles. What world is that? The one where power is borrowed until someone stronger takes it back. She understands the shape of what he won't say and feels cold anyway. You have my address, my medical file, my nights. You could have me if you wanted. Why don't you? The dots hold steady. Because no one held the woman who once texted me by mistake, he writes. And because I'd rather be the answer than the echo. Something in her softens and wants to break at the same time. What happened to her? I answered too late. The phone doesn't move. Neither does she. Outside, the city folds deeper into evening. The first raindrops tick against the window. What do I have to do to get free? Choose a door. Say it plainly. Door 1. Leave quietly tonight. New passport. New phone. You disappear. No statement. No courtroom. You start over somewhere the cold smells different. Door 2. You give me your account on record. Only once. I move pieces in the open. You keep your name. He loses his. But eyes turn to you for a while, and some won't blink. She rubs the edge of her cast, hating both doors for stealing in different directions. If I disappear, he gets to rewrite me. If I don't, they stare. They stare either way, Jay replies. One way you stare back. Thunder mutters far away. Her phone buzzes again before she can answer. I need to know something before you choose. Did he break your arm because you tried to leave or because you tried to stay? The question stops her breath. She remembers the bathroom light, the way the mirror didn't quite show her face, the quiet before the door handle turned. Because I finally said I was done. Then your answer is already in you. The lamp flickers. The apartment stutters and goes dark. The hum dies. Rain deepens to a static sheet against glass. She stands too quickly and the world tilts, catching at the edges. Her phone glows in the sudden dark like a small moon. Backup generator will take 30 seconds. Stay away from the windows. She steps back from the glass, drags the chair with her foot, uses it as a barrier to keep her from pacing. The door's shadow looks deeper now. Something shifts at the base of it, a sliver of light where there shouldn't be any. She holds her breath and watches the sliver widen by a hair, like a tongue tasting air. Her phone vibrates. Don't speak. Don't move. I'm tracing. The sliver stays. 30 seconds pass. The power doesn't return. Her phone lights again. Elevators offline. That wasn't the building. The sliver retreats. Footsteps whisper away. Arielle swallows and types with her shaking hand. They found me. They found a floor. Not you. Breathe. Is this still optional, Jay? The answer doesn't come. A new message lands instead, from an unknown contact, bold and wrong. Where did you go, baby? You scared me. Her stomach drops through her feet. The number is Caleb's, but the language isn't. He never calls her baby. Her thumb hovers. Another message arrives from the same number. Open the door. I brought flowers. You love lilies. Her throat closes. Jay's reply finally hits. That's not him writing. Do not engage. They're outside, Jay. How? We're on the stairs. A sound like a soft knock, then a second one, nearer this time, not on her door but the wall beside it, like a polite neighbor greeting a secret. She backs toward the kitchen where the counter gives her something to grip. The handle of the front door twitches. Stops. Twitches again. The peephole blooms with a blurred eye. She squeezes her eyes shut and counts to 5. The eye disappears. A woman's voice, low and careful, drifts through the door. Arielle? It's building management. We heard a disturbance. She almost answers. The voice is exactly the right temperature. Warm, worried, never intrusive. It's the sound a child trusts. Her phone vibrates once more. That voice belongs to a woman named Hannah. She doesn't work there anymore. Arielle presses her lips together until they hurt. The voice tries a second time, adds a faint tremor, sells fear like perfume. Honey, if you don't open, I'll call the police. The cast makes her fingers clumsy. She types anyway. I can't do 1 hour of police without saying something I'll regret. Then don't open the door. Silence. The hallway absorbs the attempt and gives nothing back. The generator finally thumps on with a wounded sigh. Lights bloom weakly. The peephole is empty again. Jay's next message is different. Shorter, edged. We're here. A soft scrape at the deadbolt, and the door opens to a man she's never seen. He's broad-shouldered, rain on his coat, eyes set to soft so she doesn't startle. Ms. Moore, he says, voice low. Jay sent me. She wants to ask for a password but knows there's no time left to be new at surviving. She nods once. He scans the hallway with a glance that drinks everything and leaves nothing. We need to move, he says. Stairwell, not the elevator. She grabs the phone and the small crossbody bag she didn't remember putting by the door. He notices the cast, reaches for it, stops short of touching. Hold it across your stomach going down. Less swing. They leave the apartment and step into a hallway that smells like wet concrete. He leads. Another man falls in behind her. Their footsteps sound cartoonishly loud to her ears even though they're soft. On the landing, a woman stands with her back turned, phone to her ear. She doesn't move as they pass. Arielle tries not to look. The woman's reflection stares at them from the stairwell glass anyway. No call connected, just a smile rehearsed for when someone looks back. Arielle doesn't. The stairwell is lit every other flight. On the second floor landing, they pause as the lead man checks the door. He nods, then freezes. The quiet ahead feels staged. Back, he murmurs. The word barely leaves his mouth before a third figure moves in the dark below like a shadow stepping out of a coat. Don't, the shadow says. The voice is the kind that's never learned to ask. The man behind Arielle positions his body between her and the stairwell rail, eyes tracking the dark. Ms. Moore, he says quietly, if we say run, you go up, not down. Her phone buzzes in her hand. Don't be a hero, Jay writes. 10 seconds. The shadow lifts a hand and for a half second she thinks it's empty, then sees the thin flash of something that could convince a person to do the wrong thing. Adrenaline washes cold through her as another vibration hits. 5. The shadow takes a step, and a second shadow steps with it behind the glass door to the second floor hallway, someone who has learned to be a reflection. 3. Up, the man whispers, then louder. Up. She turns to climb and her cast bumps the rail, jarring bone, pain white out bright. She tastes metal and keeps moving. Shoes hammer metal, echo swells, and then another sound joins it, heavier, closer, familiar in a way she can't place until the door above explodes inward and a figure fills the landing with a kind of stillness that hurts to look at. He doesn't shout. He doesn't need to. The hallway exhales. The shadows below shrink. Enough, he says, and it's not loud, but it travels into places fear lives and drags it up by the hair. Arielle knows the voice before she accepts what it means to see the mouth it comes from. Jay is younger than she imagined and older in the eyes. No suit. Black sweater. Rain still in his hair like the city tried to hold him and couldn't. He studies the two men at her sides and the two below as if arranging stones on a board he's memorized. You had one job, he tells the men who are his men, and the apology in their throats falls silent. He turns to the dark below. "Leave," he says to the reflection, "or I take your hands for touching a door with my name on it." The reflection's breath stutters. The first shadow weighs pride against math and chooses to live. They melt down the stairwell. The door below whispers shut. The building holds still. Jay looks at Arielle last. He doesn't smile. He doesn't pretend this is an ordinary night. His gaze drops to her cast, returns to her face, and something changes at the edges of him, like heat moving under ice. "You're late," she says before she can stop herself. It makes a corner of his mouth fight to stay still. "I wanted a dramatic entrance," he answers. Her laugh sounds like a broken thing learning itself again. "You're real," she says. "You're reckless," he replies and steps closer. His presence war against cold. "Next time you see a sliver of light under a door that isn't yours, go into the bathroom and lock yourself in again. Promise me." She hates promising. She nods anyway. He studies her face a beat longer, then turns to his men. "Car," he says. "Back route." The ride turns the city into a map of wet silver. Arielle sits in the back with Jay, who has learned to take up space without making it feel stolen. He doesn't ask to hold her phone. She doesn't offer. "Caleb's people?" she asks. Jay shakes his head once. "People who think his debts make you a receipt." He watches the window like it might lie. "Did you know about the lilies?" She blinks. "What?" "They texted you about lilies. You're allergic." She doesn't remember telling him that. "How did you? You told your doctor when you were 9, he says. "Your mother wrote it on school forms with 3 exclamation marks. Some details are family-shaped." She looks down at her hands so he won't see the way that undoes her. "You looked at everything." "I stopped before it stopped being about safety," he says. "That line is thin. I won't pretend otherwise." The car turns down a narrower street where rain collects in shallow mirrors. A boy on a bicycle appears and disappears like a trick. "Why did you come yourself?" she asks. "You have people." "I do," he says, then turns to face her fully. "But the last time I trusted them to close a stairwell, a girl with a message never made it to the door." The admission sits between them like a clean blade. "Was she yours?" she asks. He shakes his head. "No one is mine." He lets the lie be partial. "She was a debt I didn't pay fast enough." She thinks about doors and hands and the things people call each other when they're trying to decide who an apology belongs to. "I almost opened it," she says. The woman's voice was, "Built for you," he finishes. They study the people they're sent to bend. The car slows. "We're switching vehicles," he adds. "Hannah will be waiting at the entrance. Real Hannah, not the voice at your door. She'll give you a coat and a cap. Keep your head down." "Where are we going?" "Somewhere that won't make you feel safer," he says. "But it'll make you harder to find." A second car idles under a low garage ceiling. Concrete sweats. A woman steps out with a coat and a cap exactly as promised. She meets Arielle's eyes for half a second, enough to register human before returning to function. "This way." In the new car, the heater clicks and the smell of coffee clings to the seats. Jay takes the front passenger side. Arielle sits behind him, finds herself studying the back of his neck where a faint scar disappears under his collar. "Do you ever lose?" she asks, not sure who she is when she asks it. He watches the mirror. "Every win costs. That's losing with better manners." "I don't want you to do something you can't come back from," she says. "For me." He looks at her reflection. "That sentence is exactly why you survived," he says quietly. "But I'll make you a promise in exchange." "What?" "Everything I do for you, I'll be willing to explain to the person you'll be in 5 years." She swallows. "And to my mom," she says, surprising herself. "And to your mom," he says. The rain eases. The city looks rinsed. Jay's phone buzzes once and he glances down, then hands it back to his aide to deal with the thing it means. "The doors," he says, returning to the table in her head. "You don't have to pick tonight. But if you wait, the people who want to own your narrative will keep trying to write your lines." "Which door do you want me to choose?" she asks. He doesn't answer right away. The one where you don't vanish, he says at last. The one where the girl who texted me by mistake stays the person who pressed send. Her eyes sting. That's the door that scares me. Good, he says. Fear is proof there's something to keep. The car climbs an access road that feels like the city forgot it. They stop beneath a warehouse roof where the rain says its piece and moves on. Inside, a private space opens into view. Half office, half sanctuary, the kind of room built by a man who knows how to be alone. He leads her to a table, sets a glass of water down, doesn't sit until she does. One more boundary, he says. If you choose to speak, you speak once. I'll handle every echo. If you choose to disappear, no one chases you. Not even me. Even if I ask you to? If you ask me to, he says, I'll walk in your shadow until you remember your shape. The phone on the table vibrates with a new message. She doesn't need to open it to know whose number it is. The preview flashes anyway. I can change. Come home. Arielle puts the phone face down and closes her eyes. He's using words he doesn't believe, Jay says. Someone is feeding him lines. He'll memorize them, she whispers. He's good at that. Silence settles. Not heavy. Present. What do you want me to do with him? He asks softly. She opens her eyes, meets his, and hears her heartbeat steady in her ears like a metronome teaching a new song. Make him stop making me small, she says. Jay nods once. That, I know how to do. He stands, turns to leave, stops. I need you to stay here for 1 hour. Hannah will be outside the door. No one else gets in. Where are you going? To pay the debt I owe the girl with the message I missed, he says, and is gone before she can decide if that was for her or for him. She sits with the water glass and the phone and the coat she hasn't taken off. The warehouse hum is low, machine breath slow. She thinks about doors, then about windows, then about the kind of life where a window is a choice and not an exit. Her phone buzzes with a different energy. Comments, likes, strangers talking to each other in a place she built for stories bigger than hers. She doesn't open the app. She opens her mother's contact and stares. Then, with the smallest courage she has, she types. I'm safe. I'll call when I can. Don't worry. She adds a heart she's never used, sends it, and breathes through the sudden ache of relief. The door clicks softly. Hannah peeks in, checks the room with eyes that carry their own maps, then nods. He'll be back. Do you believe that? Arielle asks. Hannah thinks about it and gives the kind of truth that can stand upright. He hasn't failed me yet, she says. Arielle nods. Can I ask you something? Yes. Why do you work for him? Hannah's mouth moves in almost a smile. Because once, I was the person knocking with the wrong voice, she says. I stopped liking the sound. When she's alone again, Arielle stands, walks to the window, and looks out at a slice of river knifing through buildings. She lifts the phone and records a voice memo to herself, a thing no one will hear unless she lets them. Door 2, she says softly. I will not vanish. If you're still with her right now, drop a quick comment. I choose freedom. Like and subscribe if you believe the right door is the harder one. The hour stretches. Somewhere in it, a car door slams and an argument shortens into obedience. Footsteps approach. The door opens. Jay steps in with wet hair and the look a man wears after he's cut a knot instead of untying it. It's done, he says quietly. How done? He won't touch you again, he answers, and there is no performance in it. She realizes she's shaking only when his gaze drops to her hands. She hides them in her lap. What did it cost? He studies her for a beat. Enough. She doesn't ask for detail she isn't ready to carry. I made my choice, she says. Door 2. He nods once like he was always walking her there, then places a small black recorder on the table and steps back. You'll speak once, he says. You'll say what you survived without giving away what they could use to follow you. I'll do the rest. She picks up the recorder. Her voice comes out low but steady. My name is Arielle Moore, she begins, and as the first words cross the room, she realizes they feel like a key turning from the inside. Before we finish this, pause for 1 second. Like this video. Subscribe. Because what happens now isn't about rescue anymore. It's about truth, consequences, and the price of choosing the harder door. The recorder feels heavier than it looks. Arielle turns it in her fingers, noticing a small scratch on the edge, wondering whose story lived there before hers. Jay doesn't rush her. He stands near the window, back half-turned, giving her space the way men who understand power learn to do when they don't want to abuse it. Hannah waits outside the door. The warehouse hums. The city keeps breathing. Arielle presses record. "My name is Arielle Moore," she says again, steadier this time. "I'm speaking because silence almost killed me." The words come slowly at first, then find their rhythm. She doesn't name addresses. She doesn't describe routes. She tells the truth without leaving a trail. She talks about isolation disguised as love, about control dressed up as concern, about the moment fear becomes routine and routine becomes a cage. She talks about the bathroom door, the wrong number, the arm that broke and the voice that answered. She stops when her chest tightens, breathes, continues. When she's done, the room feels cleaner, like rain passed through it. She sets the recorder down. Her hands are shaking less now. Jay turns. He doesn't applaud. He nods once, accepting the weight she's handed him. "I'll handle distribution," he says. "One release. No edits that change meaning." "Will it work?" she asks. "It will make noise," he replies. "Noise is the point. Justice follows noise when it can't hide." "What about me?" "You'll be seen," he says. "For a while." She swallows. "And after?" "After," he says, choosing each word, "you get your life back in pieces. We'll help you put them together. Then we step away." She studies him. "You keep saying we." "Hannah." "Others," he says. "And me until you say stop." She nods. "I won't disappear." "I know," he says, and for the first time she hears pride in it, clean and unclaimed. The release goes live at dawn. Not everywhere. Just enough places that talk to each other. The response isn't immediate. It's a swell. Messages stack. Calls come in waves and then stop when boundaries are enforced. Legal language replaces threats. Apologies appear wearing suits. The word allegation circles and then falls apart under the weight of pattern. Caleb surfaces briefly in a photo outside a courthouse. Face thinner, posture smaller. Someone taught him new lines. They don't land. He looks for a camera that isn't there. The world moves on without him, which turns out to be the punishment he understands. Arielle stays off the feeds. She walks by the river instead, learning the pace of her own steps again. The cast comes off. The arm aches and heals. Her mother calls. They talk about ordinary things and then about everything else. There are tears, and there is relief, and there is the strange joy of saying the same truth twice and having it sound lighter the second time. Jay keeps his distance the way he promised. He checks in once a day, then every other day, then only when something actually matters. When he does show up, it's never with answers she didn't ask for. He listens more than he speaks. When she flinches at a sound, he doesn't move to fix it. He waits until she tells him what she needs. One evening, weeks later, they sit on a bench overlooking the river. No guards close. No car idling nearby. Just people passing, the city minding its business. "You could have turned this into a spectacle," she says. "I could have," he agrees. "Why didn't you?" "Because spectacle eats the person it pretends to protect," he says. "And because you asked me not to make you small." She watches a boat cut the water cleanly. "What happens to you after this?" she asks. He considers the river. "I go back to solving problems," he says. More carefully. "Do you ever stop?" she asks. He meets her gaze. "Sometimes," he says, "when I'm reminded why stopping matters." They sit in a silence that isn't heavy. She realizes she isn't afraid of doors anymore. She thinks about windows instead. How some open inward, how some are meant to be looked through, not escaped. Her phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. She stiffens, then reads it. It's a woman thanking her for saying something out loud that she hasn't yet learned to say. Arielle types back slowly, choosing words like stones placed across water. You don't owe the world your pain. Only yourself your freedom. She sends it and feels something settle. Are you ready for me to step away? Jay asks, not looking at her. She thinks about the wrong number that started everything. About the way help sounded like a stranger until it didn't. Not tonight, she says. But soon. He nods. Soon is honest. They stand. He offers his arm without touching. A question more than an action. She takes it. They walk once around the river bend and stop where the lights break into fragments on the water. Jay, she says. Yes. Thank you for answering. He inclines his head. Thank you for pressing send. They part there. No promises. No vows. Just a clean ending that feels like a beginning. Later, alone, Arielle opens her notes app and writes one last line for herself. I chose the door that let me stay. If this story moved you, like this video and subscribe. And if you've ever stood in front of a door wondering which way costs more, drop a comment and tell me which one you'd choose.